Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closer Show. As always, Scott Carson here, excited to be with you. I think we're on episode 402 today. And today's episode is all about the fear factor. All right. Now, I don't know about many of you guys, but many of you may remember the show that Joe Rogan originally hosted. I think Jay-Z took it over once it moved to MTV, called Fear Factor. You know, the show where you got to, overcome your obstacles, overcome your fears, maybe jumping out of a plane, or crawling into a vat of snakes, or eating some petrified donkey penis. You know what I mean? And Joe Rogan hosted it back in the day. You had to do all these things to overcome your fear, like 3 fears. It was always something disgusting that you had to eat, some physical obstacle, and then something else. Good morning, everybody. It was one of my favorite shows to watch when it first came out. And then it just got weirder and weirder and weirder, right? And I've had some conversations in the last couple days, Sunday, today, yesterday, with people who are really experiencing their own fear factor episode. They're just really mind-effing themselves. And the thing I want to discuss today is when you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, because I think we all do this at some point. We all get overwhelmed, whether it's we're working on paperwork or the tax season or the holidays or getting a deal closed. It's very easily to feel overwhelmed and have the fear factor start to kick in. I think we can all agree to that, right, everybody? The best thing you can do, instead of sitting there and letting fear paralyze yourself, is to do a couple of things. And I wanted to go through those things with you. Now, the first thing, fear is, you know what fear stands for? False evidence appearing real, right? That's what fear stands for. False evidence appearing real. Now, what does that mean by false evidence? Well, we think we have this evidence. We basically, what it means is we automatically go to the worst possible situation. Okay, we all go to the worst possible situation. What's the worst thing that can happen? And that's what starts to paralyze us. And my buddy Greg Reese says, well, what if not the worst thing would happen, but the best possible thing would happen? All right. And I know this sounds easier said than done, but let's face some realities. And some realities that I came to early on is, especially in the note business, is there are a lot of moving parts. When you're going from something that you're not used to being, coming from, whether you're a yoga instructor or a counselor or working IT or working traffic or radio control tower, whatever, we all come from different facets of life. Note investing is not something that's just taught in school. I think we can all agree to that, right? In fact, the real estate class I took was so generic, it was one of the easiest summer classes I could have taken. What I'm trying to get at is we all go through learning curves when we come over to the note space, all right? And if you're never been a real estate investor, there's a lot of learning curves and things like that. That doesn't mean you should be fearful, okay? What I mean by fearful is when I start hearing people like, oh, I don't know what to say. Okay, that's fine. Relax. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about what are you so fearful of? I'm fearful of making a fool of myself. Okay, what happens if you do? Well, I'm going to lose that lead. No, probably not. You have to realize, and I realized this a long time ago, everybody, we all have to start somewhere. Even the asset managers, even the Jamie Dimons, okay, who runs Citibank. No, JP Morgan Chase is Jamie Dimon. Even Warren Buffett, they had to start somewhere first. They were at one point, they were the new guy on the block. Okay. At the first time, they were the first person delivering drinks. They were the intern at some point, right? They all started at the beginning, brand new somewhere. And even the asset managers of the hedge funds, they started new somewhere. Even the servicing guys, even the traders selling assets stuff, sending stuff out. All the asset managers had to start new somewhere. Okay, so give yourself a big breath. Take a big breath. With a little stress, realize that they had to put their pants on one leg at a time. They had to put their underwear on before they put their pants on, okay? They had to put their big girl, big boy panties on in the morning, okay? They had to take a shower. They had to go to the bathroom. They had to brush their teeth. They had to shave or work their hair. They all had to do the same things that we all do on a regular basis. Okay. Important to keep this in mind. The reason I talk about this is you have to realize that A, they're just normal human beings on the other line you're talking about if you're dealing with them. And B, they're doing the same things that you do. And so you often have a lot of common ground with a lot of people that you may not realize that you do. Okay. So when you take those two things into consideration and realize that we all start somewhere, that should allow you to take a little bit of breath. Okay. Now, one of the biggest things that I get people upset about, or not, I won't say upset about, but fearful of, is if they're talking to asset managers for the first time and they throw them a loop, whether, hey, maybe they're used to residential and suddenly get asset managers talking about commercial, like, oh my God, what do I do? Well, it's the same conversation you would have with a commercial asset manager. It's the same conversation you have with a commercial asset manager is the same one you'd have with a residential asset manager. What are you looking for? Okay. And first and foremost, the big thing that underlies a lot of people is like, oh my God, I don't have all the money saved. I don't have the private money lined up for, to be able to, fund these deals. Like literally, you have no idea what the asset manager is going to send. You have no idea what the asset manager has in their books. There's no even worry about going all the way to Z, going all the way down to, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to fund. You don't even know what they have yet. And this is the same thing on the residential side. People call me all the time. Hey, I need help. I need help with this. I need help with this. Okay, what do you need help with? Well, I'm not having experience in that. Okay, but do you even know what you're looking at yet? No. Do you even have a list yet? No. Why are you going eating petrified donkey dong before you even have to get there? Oh, I get my ducks in a row. Ducks in a row. Ducks can be put in a row pretty relatively quickly. Okay. What I want you all to realize is fear is not a factor for most of you. Okay. And that was one of my favorite lines. Fear is not a factor for you. Fear is not a factor for you to eat that petrified egg, ostrich egg that makes you vomit. Fear is not a factor for you to crawl in a vat of honeybees and let them sit on your face, or to crawl in a bucket of cockroaches. Hello from China. Hi, Dennis. Good morning. We got people all across the world listening this morning. So what I'm trying to get at here is we all start to worry about different things. And a lot of times it's like hot potato. We get something and we don't feel it. Oh, we got to throw it to somebody else. Oh, we got to throw it somewhere else. We got to throw it somewhere else. Just chill before you start throwing. You may not even have anything to look at first, but don't be willing to throw the deal to somebody else unless you take some time to look at it. If you really can't handle it, then bring on a professional, bring on a partner. Because the big thing with commercial assets, and this is how close I with commercial assets, a lot of times people get into commercial assets, but they're not even the principal. They're bringing on team, they're bringing on experts. There's a lot of partnering going on the commercial space with people that are used to doing it. We had Sal Buscemi on here about a month and a half ago, talking about a lot of people in the commercial space aren't experts in self-storage. They're not experts in multifamily. They're not experts in mixed use. Okay. But they go find and align themselves with somebody who will run the operations. They'll put a team around them. Okay. And that's one of the biggest things I can tell you out there. If you're getting stressed out because you're seeing commercial assets books, relax. It's the same thing. Here's what we're looking for. We're looking at stuff in these markets. It's very similar to your discussion with a residential. Hey, what are you looking for? Well, here are the states we're looking to buy in. Here are the major markets. We're open to looking at a variety of things, but we need to know condition. We need to know cash flow. And that's the big thing about commercial assets. You need to know cap rates and the NOIs to figure out price and stuff. But if it's a vacant asset, there's not really any cash flow. You got to look at, it's a longer play with commercial assets. You're not going to fund in 7 days or 30 days with residential, like you do on the residential side. The commercial side, you got longer. So you can take that bigger break and go from there. Because asset managers, they just want to know, hey, are you looking to buy? Can you fund at some point? And we'll go from there. They understand that there's a longer process in the commercial side. Assets, reviewing the operating expenses, all those rent rolls, things like that, to making sure it's a done deal before you fund. Now, the big thing, too, a lot of people get flipped out. Oh, it's commercial. It's more expensive. It's higher priced, okay? What you have to realize, yeah, it's a higher priced asset, but that's okay. There are a lot of people out there that are looking for those type of deals. They're looking to fund those types of deals. That's okay. Just take a deep breath, and realize you're just a few phone calls probably from talking to somebody who handled it. You're not have to go out and fund $25 million now. Most of them aren't going to require you to send a proof of funds letter until you go to start bidding on stuff. I mean, if you use a $25 million asset, most of you aren't going to be able to fund that anyway. That's okay. But if you look at, hey, we're looking to stuff in these markets, probably a smaller loan balance, $5 million or less, $2 million or less, depending on the project. We've got a variety of private investors behind us, and that is true for every one of you out there. You all have plenty of private investors in your, as I like to say, your stable. Maybe you just don't know they're in your stable yet. You've just got to share what's going on. You got to share the deals that you're working through. You got to start talking to people that are in those arenas, okay? Because the biggest thing is when an asset manager sends over a list, especially let's say commercial assets, you're going to look at them, see if there's anything. You may not know what you're looking at first. That's the first phone call. Hey, what am I looking at here? What makes sense? What's the fastest things? And the best thing that I did initially early on is when I started getting these asset lists 10 years ago, is I just reached out to experts. Hey, can you walk me through a deal or two here? Can you walk me through if this makes sense? And that's great. That's the first thing that you probably want to do. But if it's something that's in your wheelhouse, okay? I had somebody reach out and say, hey, I just got 16 assets or 26 assets in my backyard. And I sent it to a realtor. I'm like, well, wait a second. Why would you send it to a realtor immediately? It's in your backyard. Jump online and check out the crime maps really fast. And truly, check out some Zillow. You know what? Here's the original thought. Jump in a car and drive around and look at the assets. If I got 26 assets in here in Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, or Houston, I would jump in a car and drive around and look at those assets. I mean, that's the whole reason, like Steph and I went last year, we flew up to Ohio. We drove around Columbus. We drove around Cleveland. We drove around Akron. We drove around Canton, Toledo. We drove around those areas, Cincinnati, looking at assets. We wanted to get a feel for the neighborhood, see what's going on. Same thing in Michigan. That's why we flew into Detroit, drove around Detroit and Flint and Pontiac, up to Bay City, back down to Ann Arbor, Lansing. You have to realize if you get a list of assets in your backyard or within a couple hours of where you're at, the best possible thing that everybody could do, especially if you're brand new, is take a deep breath and go take a look. Now, if the asset manager says, oh, I can have a bid by tomorrow, okay, fine. I'm not going to be able to get a bid to you tomorrow. I'm going to drive by these assets. I can have a bid to you next week. Great. Work some of the initial due diligence, jump online, check out taxes, look at some online values, Trulia, maybe narrow the list down if you see it's in a rougher area. Maybe narrow the list down from 26 down to 15. Okay? But still, the best learning experience you can have is to step up to your fears, not run screaming, running away. Ah! Okay? So that's the thing I want many of you to realize. Looking at assets is one of the best things you can do. Ask questions. Hey, what do you see about these assets? What's going on? Now, well, the thing is, if you go to somebody and ask for them to help you, the last thing you want to do is I want to make sure of this. I want to make this very clear. If you go to an expert in a field, expert in notes, experts in apartments, and you ask for their counsel, and they give you counsel or they give you deals to look at and things like that, and then you turn around, well, I need to speak to my advisors. What does that mean? I need to go speak to my advisors that aren't in the note space. What value can they add to you? That's the biggest slap in the face that you can give somebody you reached out to. Like if I reached out to my buddy Corey Peterson, who's an amazing apartment investor, or if I reached out to Jason Bible, who's great, doing great stuff in the Houston market, and I asked them to evaluate a deal for me, and then no, I think you're smoking crack. I'm going to go, can I call somebody else? That's not a good thing. If you reach out to somebody for some help and then they don't give you the answer you like and you think you're going to find it from somewhere else, you have a problem. It's a confidence problem. If you're not going to do any of the groundwork yourself, I'm sorry, don't be wasting people's time asking them questions and then going back and countering what they gave you. That's just not a professional aspect of things, okay? Thing you want to also keep in mind as well, everybody, is be respectful of other people's time and respectful of your time, okay? If you are feeling cramped, you're feeling like you don't have enough time to get some things done, evaluate your day. Look at your day. What am I focused on? And realize maybe you're not going to get to everything in a day. Pace things out a little bit. That's the big thing is if you look at your schedule, a lot of us get run around like a chicken with our head cut off. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to get anything done. Well, why are you not getting anything done? Because you're wasting your time with little items, or you're running all over the place not being organized. Okay? Because that leads, when we have stress of time or constraints, that leads to us feeling kind of scrunched up. That's when the fear kicks in. I can't get everything done. Okay? If you can't get everything done, then you either got to look at A, what can you cut out of your schedule, or B, do you need to bring on some help? Do you need to bring on somebody to help you out with some evaluations? Do you need somebody to come on as an assistant to help you with your paperwork so you can focus on the things that you need to get done? Okay? Because in today's age, you can hire VAs, virtual assistants, for $3 to $4 an hour, $5 an hour, to help you with a lot of the menial shit, the due diligence aspect of things. You can jump on their software, like we had JD Bates on last night on Note Night in America, with talking about the Note Pros, and then some of the asset management stuff that they're looking. He's added to Note Pros. Simple tools can often save you a lot of time and energy, but ultimately, at some point, if you really want to take that next step, you have to realize and overcome your fears and go ahead and hire somebody. Okay? Honestly, that's one of the best things that you can do. For many people that posted in the WC Inc., or some people posted in there, said, "Oh, hey, I here's my goals for the year. I want to do 20 deals. I want to do 120 deals, or I want to do 10,000 in cash flow, or 5,000 in cash flow." Great. How are you going to get to that? If you're still working a full-time job, it's hard to hit 120 deals. Now, if you've got a flexible schedule, it's a different aspect, but I'm not singling anybody out. What I'm simply saying is looking at what you're doing. Okay? 120 deals or even 50 deals requires almost a full-time focus to what you're doing. And if you're full-time focused still at a job, that's okay, as long as you have your systems in place, as long as you maybe are bringing on the people to help you out in your business, the people to literally, we're not talking a full-time position, but maybe 10, 20 hours a week, 40 hours a week. So you can work maybe remotely, across the country, across the continent. Those are simple things that will help you alleviate a lot of the fear, because the fear factor in life often comes from pressure of not being able to get things done, or not having enough time in the day, or not knowing what you're looking at. Not knowing what you're looking at is not an excuse to be fearful. That should be a driving force to pick up the phone and call somebody, which is great. If you have questions, I'm always available. Drop me an email. Glad to help out if I'm available. If not, if I don't know the answer, glad to put you in touch with somebody. All right? Because that's what it comes down to more than anything else. The fear is not a factor for those that are know where to turn to, know where, who to call, what they're looking at. That doesn't mean they're going to go eat any dried donkey dong. Okay? But it does mean they're going to know, it probably does taste like chicken. And go from there. Dried donkey dong. I got to remember that one. That's going to be something we're going to have to put out there. Hashtag dried donkey dong is a hashtag. So I see Melody Medley joining us here as well, watching online. I mean, we see a lot of, especially when you're dealing with borrowers in the note space, they have a lot of fear going on. They're behind their mortgages. They're behind their payments. They're worried about being foreclosed on. And sometimes the best thing that you can do to help avoid that fear factor is just to talk to them. Hey, what are your plans? What are your goals? As Joel Markovitz always likes to say, the first conversation that they have, the senior law group, when they're reaching out to a borrower on behalf of us, is what's the situation? What's your story? What do you want to do? Just have a conversation. Let's alleviate that fear that I'm the big bad banker going to foreclose, and I'm willing to help out with you if you're willing to talk with me. Okay? And that's one of the biggest things I know a lot of people get into. What do I say what I need to say? Well, in some cases, you don't need to be saying anything. You need just to turn it over to the good people at an attorney's office, or your servicer, or special servicing, to get things rocking and rolling out there. And Rudy Willis says it's way too early in the morning for Triple D and cockroaches. LOL. I agree. But, not everybody watches this in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, everybody. So, and biggest thing I can tell each and everybody out here, we all have fears. Everybody, myself, have fears. I hate snakes, by the way. Absolutely hate snakes. Okay. And so one of the things that I do is like, okay, can I get away from the snake? I'm fine. Do I have a sharp object to kill the damn snake? I'm fine. I'll be okay. Okay. Steph always likes to joke about that I don't get scared or stressed out about anything. Oh, I'm stressed out about a lot of things. A variety of things, our portfolio, our working to get things done, our classes, the new year. There's a lot of things that affect me. One of the best things that I do is I go face my fears. Hey, let me work on this. Let me work on this. I have kind of a process. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. What are the big rocks that I need to get done today? What are the things that I need to go? And I had a really great conversation with my buddy Val Sotier from Watermark Exchange yesterday afternoon as I was driving back up from downtown Austin. We were talking about where do you think the market's going? A lot of people are very fearful of the market. It's the unknown that causes fear, right? It's the unknown. What's that taste like? What's our next move? Do I need to be saving? Do I need to be buying? Do I need to be selling? Okay. Val said a couple good things that I totally agree. You can't try to predict the market. If we started thinking back when we got into this business back in 2008, 9, and 10, many of us said we thought this would be a 3-year run. Well, 8 years later into a 3-year run, we're still sitting here. We're still buying assets. We're still selling assets. We're still buying non-performing assets. We're still seeing defaults across the board. Okay. And one of the big things that that drives me bonkers when I talk to students, I need a proof concept. What do you mean you need a proof concept? Concept's been around fine for hundreds of years. Wall Street's doing this. What more do you need to know? Goldman Sachs is doing their, you think they're proving concept? Don't be afraid that if you're working through a deal and the numbers make sense, and so you're reaching out to your advisors, your counselors, you're seeking counsel, not advice, okay? That there aren't opportunities in the market right now. There are plenty of opportunities in the market. I get lists sent to me all the time I'm looking at, okay? One of the biggest things I want you to look at, though, is realize that those are opportunities. And if you have an opportunity for something like that, and the deals make sense, and you believe in the deal, a lot of times that's what it takes for people to invest with you. Deal. Okay? That you understand the numbers. You know where this deal is going. Okay? And I think one of the big things people get upset with is when private investors are like, well, tell me about the deal. Oh, no, don't. That's a good thing. They should be willing to talk about the deal. You should be willing to share the goods, the bads. Well, this was originally 26 assets. We narrowed it down to 16 because of this, this, and this. And out of these 26, that we narrowed down to 15, we believe that 10 to 12 of them get reperforming because of this, this, and this. The taxes are paid by the borrowers this year. The utilities have low balances. They're only a few months behind, and based on the payment history, we can see that they've been paying. We believe these are some decent deals. But the unknown. What happens when the shit hits the fan? What do we do? Well, if they don't pay and don't work with us, we're going to, start filing foreclosure. We're going to start legal action. I have my attorneys, who's my big bad guys with the bat, not me. We have our attorneys, we have our servicing companies, because that's one of the biggest things that you have to really share more than anything else out there is you have to learn to, best thing I can tell you, learn to really embrace those questions and have them prepared. If there's an elephant in the room, it's best to address the elephant right off the bat. What happens when the shit hits the fan? Who's your insurance company? Do you have a title company? And one of the things that we talk about all the time, and especially at our virtual workshops, is you rely on your vendors. Rely on your vendors to help you overcome your fears. Rely on your tribe. Rely on your masterminds. Rely on your experts. All right. If I have a legal question, I'm either calling my attorneys or I'm calling and talking to people that I respect. Okay. If it's about real estate, I'm probably calling Daniel Singer or one of my attorneys in the state, like Franco Burrill, Tony Satil. Okay. If it's something to do with entities, I'm probably going to call Aaron Young, or I'm going to talk to Kevin Day about my estate planning, things like that. Those are the things I'm working. If it's about insurance, I'm going to get on the phone and call the Bobkis brothers. Okay. Servicing, I'm going to call Shantae or Joel Markovitz. Okay. What you have to realize, the experts out there will help you avoid the fear factor in life. Okay. They'll help you avoid eating some dry donkey dong. Okay. Because that does not taste good. Not that I've ever experienced dry donkey dong. What I'm trying to get at more than anything else is you can see where you're headed. Okay. And it's up to you to steer the ship in the direction, especially get conversations. I'll give you an example. A lot of people are very nervous. They get fearful this time of year going out to meetup groups or going out to the real estate club. So like tomorrow night, I'm hosting a podcast meetup group here in Austin on the north side of town. I put it together. I'm like, we do. So I see some good things taking place with my buddy Chris Christosis from Podfest. He started the Florida Podcast Association. They meet once a month. I was like, I can meet once a month. I can carve 2 to 3 hours of time out of my schedule to meet once a month. It's 24 hours out of my year to meet with the people around here to network. And really, it's just going to be a roundtable. I'm just going to be meeting people and talking about their podcast. Okay? Talking about what we do here. How can we help? Any tips I can learn? Tips of the trades. That's why I started it. Boom, we got 40 people that have signed up to be a part of that group. We'll have 15 people, 20 people at this thing tomorrow night. It's just going to be a roundtable for the most part. An hour and a half, a roundtable too. Who needs the most amount of help? What are the subjects they want to face on? And go from there. Same thing. Real estate investing club. All right. I travel a ton. Okay. I know working with local investors like you guys a lot of times. We've got some of you guys on here that host local groups. Great. I'm glad to come out and talk. I made a presence like, hey, there's plenty of real estate investment clubs here in Austin. I need to probably go to 10 more. So I reach out, jump online, look, see there's one literally not too far, Cedar Park Investment Club, which is not too far from my house, a couple hundred members. I'm like, awesome. And I see the president, his last meeting was November, and he just took a quick leave. Well, I reached out to him saying, all right, hey, I see you've taken leave. You've done a really good job with the group here. I'd be glad to come in and help host a meeting or two until you get everything up and running again for you, whatever you get over your hurdle. I'm not trying to recreate anything. Same thing. It's the first year. There's some goals. There's some things you want to accomplish. It helps me get the word out a little bit to what we're doing. But it's not my group, but I'm glad to help out that guy. And he reached out to me this morning. So, that'd be phenomenal. Let's talk this afternoon. I'll have to do it later in the month because Steph says, yes, what's another day in the machine, right? Keep going. But that's the thing is I'm not fearful to add something a little simple extra to what we do. God knows we have plenty, but it's still a win-win. And I'm not fearful for that. Maybe it's 1 or 2 meetings. If nobody shows up, I have my night back. Okay. The thing I'm trying to get at everybody, you have to realize is most of your fears, most of the factors we have of failure, for not getting things done, they're up here between our head. And the biggest hurdle that we will all have in life is dealing with that 4 to 6 inches between your ears. Some of us have bigger heads than the others. Sometimes it's 8 inches, who knows? But what I'm trying to get at with more than anything else is if you're not having the success you're having because you're constantly being fearful, you're scared of failure, embrace it. What's the failure aspect of it? Have you even attempted anything? Who are you getting your advice from? Okay. Are you getting counsel or are you just getting advice? If you're seeking counsel from idiots who've never been or even attempted what you're trying to do or have never even got out of their own way, they've let fear bring them down. They're trying to draw you back into it. The time is to eliminate those relationships or step away from those and go out and surround yourself with a new tribe that will help you overcome your fears. Because I look back to the last 10 years, it's totally different now what I'm doing than I was doing 10 years ago. And you know what's going to happen over the next 10 years? It's probably going to be a lot different than what I'm doing now in the real estate arena. I'll still be doing notes, but who knows what's happening. And the thing is this, we as entrepreneurs, we as people, you need to constantly be growing. If you're not growing, you're staying stagnant, that's not a good thing. One thing that Steph and I are constantly looking is, hey, what do we need to do? What do we need to freshen things up a little bit as far as the note business? What do we need so we're not staying stagnant? What are the things that we're doing going forward? And we laugh a little bit because we see some great people doing some amazing things, and that's great. That's just not, if they're out doing something that's just not in our wheelhouse, that's fine. Does it make sense? Probably not. Let them do what they need to do. We'll just stick to what we know is working, and we'll keep adding to that. We'll keep making what we do better. We'll keep adding new things to what we do to keep it fresh. But that doesn't stop us from experiencing fears. Is this going to fail or is it going to go well? If it succeeds, great. If it doesn't succeed, hey, we can always move on because more opportunities where we're lost in indecision than making a decision, everybody. And if you can fail forward and learn something along the way, trust me, the more times you fail, literally, you can't fail forward and take a step back. It's impossible, physically impossible for you to fall on your face and do it by taking a step back. You're always going to learn something more by overcoming your obstacles. Okay? Let's Steph say on here. People smarter than me always say if you're not growing, you're dying. I think you're onto something. Yeah, exactly. I think they're onto something. Yes. Keep learning, keep failing forward. All right. Donna Maxwell. Wilson agrees with that. So true. Yeah. Keep moving forward. All right. And the more times that you fail forward, the less fearful you'll be of taking on new things. And of course, ultimately, fear will not be a factor for you. So once again, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for contributing. As always, feel free to, if you're watching this live, hit the share button for us. If you're watching this on YouTube or Vimeo, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you're alerted of new videos uploaded. Same thing on iTunes, Stitcher, any of the podcast platforms out there. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. And also, feel free to jump on over and give us a review. We'd really appreciate any new reviews in 2019. So once again, don't be scared. Go out and make something happen. False evidence appearing real, that's fear. Slice through the false evidence and realize you can find out what you're fearful of and overcome your obstacles. And when you do that, you get closer to us seeing you at the top. Bye, everybody.